And good evening. It's just past 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 13th of November, and welcome to our weekly news programme. And in the news this week, drivers using Dorset Council car parks. Let's get the picture up. There we go. Drivers using Dorset Council car parks are being asked to use cashless payments due to ongoing disruption to many ticket machines across the county. If a machine is currently unable to accept cash payments, drivers will still need to pay for parking via a cashless method. This may involve using a phone and will require locating the unique car park identification number. This is displayed on signs throughout the car park and can also be found on the payment machine. There are currently 4 cashless options to use: downloading the Just Park app on your smartphone, paying by mobile phone using the details found on the side of the payment machine, using SMS text messages, and some you can pay by going to the council website, dorsetcouncil.gov.uk/parking, and pay in advance. Drivers may find it useful to set some of these options up in advance on their phones, particularly as cash payments are not available at the current time. Dorset Council has said they are sorry for this disruption. This is very much a temporary measure, and they're working hard to reinstate cash payments, which are, they know, the preferred option for many local residents. And they hope that cash payments will be available again in car parks by early December. So if you're going into any of the towns and you're going to need to park, just be aware that the council cash payment machines at the car parks are not taking cash at the moment, so you'll have to be able to pay via a different method. Local homeless people have benefited from a lunchtime fish fest, thanks to award-winning local chippy Fish and Fritz. Fish and Fritz let down by a local coach party at the last moment, and were left with the owner, Paul Hay, with 45 portions of hot fish and chips. So diners on Wednesday lunchtime, the 9th of November, were very lucky to find that the local Lantern Trust and Bus Shelter Dorset were provided with free feasts for their clients. Owner Paul said, "We welcome a lot of coach parties for lunch throughout the year, but on this occasion the coach party had inadvertently booked us instead of a fish shop in Cirencester. They realised their mistake when they arrived at their destination in Cirencester and found they had empty plates. Meanwhile, here in Weymouth, I had pre-prepared lunches cooked in time for their expected arrival and no customers. But every cloud has a silver lining. We got straight onto the phone to Emily McCarran at the Bus Shelter Dorset and Mike Graham at the Lantern Trust to donate the meals." Owner Paul says, "It was our pleasure to make the donation. We like to help out local community whenever we can." So there we go, an unexpected lunch there for some people in Weymouth. The net zero strategy announced by the government recently commits a £2 billion investment in active travel infrastructure to enable half of journeys in towns and cities to be cycled or walked by a target of 2030. Owners of the e-bike cafe on the harbour in Weymouth, Peter Claxton and Josephine Parker, have been actively championing an active lifestyle, healthier eating and positive mental well-being. They have been delighted to see so many people take to their bikes during the last year, but urge residents to continue the trend in light of the climate crisis. Peter says the government has set out ambitious targets for active travel in their net zero strategy. And whilst we are already fortunate to have some good cycle routes connecting our towns, more will be needed to enable half of our journeys to be undertaken by bikes by 2030. We are in no doubt about the benefits of swapping four-wheel transport for two wheels, and e-bikes are a valuable tool to replace car journeys with an accessible and great way to bridge the distance of your commute. Last year, the pandemic drove a record-breaking 11% fall in greenhouse gas emissions through reduced mobility and oil use. People obviously not needing to go to work or going out less often in their cars. But as the economy recovers, this is set to rebound. Reducing emissions from transport is just one way we can help alleviate the climate crisis, and research supports this. According to a recent study by Oxford scientists published in the Journal of Global Environmental Change, switching just one car trip a day to e-bike or cycling can greatly reduce your carbon footprint and will be a significant contribution to your own health benefits. So there we go. Get on your bike, very much is the message there, or get on your e-bike even. A popular diner on Portland Harbour, not far from us here in White Regis, has lost its application to expand. Billy Winters, just off of Ferrybridge, had asked Dorset Council to allow a bigger building with a first floor addition. A planning appeal has now decided that the changes will not be allowed because of the impact it would have on the heritage coast. The proposals would have continued the shipping container theme at the site, which the business put in place when it first opened. The proposals included another bar area, better toilets and disabled access, keeping the existing diner building although covering it in reclaimed timber cladding and using 8 shipping containers of various sizes, some cut down to expand the site. The appeal made in the name of Ferrybridge Marine was prompted by Dorset Council failing to make a decision on the original application submitted in June 2020. The planning inspector, Matthew Jones, said of the application, its 2-storey and linear form would rise against the sky, offering a scale incongruous to the character of this section of the coastline and its otherwise modest built form. The harm would be precipitable from the causeway and the beaches around it and would reach significant levels in proximity, in my opinion. As this is an intrinsic issue of scale and height, the harm would not be mitigated by the proposed finished materials nor the building's vegetated shingle roof. So there we go. Bad news for Billy Winters. I know it's a very popular spot for people to visit. Maybe they will be able to resubmit an application slightly different, and maybe that will be supported in the future. We have heard this week that Dorset health organisations are delighted now to have opened the temporary outpatient assessment centre at Southwark House in Dorchester to patients. Now, we did mention this a few weeks ago. It's now open. The Centre for Rapid Access Clinics is operating out of the ground floor of the former Dorset Council offices. And this will operate for 6 months as part of a county-wide effort to tackle NHS waiting lists. The initiative is being led by Dorset County Hospital in partnership with NHS Dorset Clinical Commissioning Group, Dorset Healthcare, Live Well Dorset and Active Dorset, and brings together a range of outpatient services under one roof in a town centre location. Patients are being invited to attend orthopaedic, musculoskeletal and physiotherapy appointments at the centre and can access a wealth of health and wellbeing information and advice while they're there. There's also going to be a dedicated space for clinicians to conduct virtual appointments with patients through video and telephone calls. The Dorchester Centre is part of Dorset's wider Think Big initiative to help reduce waiting lists and bring diagnostic services closer to the community. And it's one of the first schemes of its kind running in the country. Hopefully that's good news for patients in Dorset. Lots of developments going on at Dorset County Hospital itself, and obviously this is a welcome increase in access for patient services. Weymouth is officially celebrating after receiving the prestigious Purple Flag Award for its evening and night-time economy. The town has been accredited for the 4th year running, recognising the continued collaboration with partners to provide a safer nighttime economy. Like the Blue Flag scheme for beaches, Purple Flag areas are singled out for providing a vibrant and diverse mix of dining, entertainment and culture for visitors and residents to enjoy. This year's award is especially encouraging given how everyone has had to adjust to new ways of working and socialising with the COVID-19 pandemic. Purple Flag highlights include various exciting and ongoing projects and the creation of a bid improvement subcommittee dealing with history, culture and arts, promoting a key tourism driver for Weymouth. Staying with Weymouth, a new home for up to 5 Dorset children and young people called The Harbour is being built in the grounds of 45 Dorchester Road, Weymouth. Dorset children need to grow up and be cared for in Dorset. Some children are not able to live with their families and have to be cared for by Dorset Council. A shortage of accommodation means some children have to leave their schools, their friends and everything they know and be placed in care far away. The Harbour is an integrated service for young people which brings together a range of accommodation options, services and outreach support centred around a residential hub. The home will give local children a better and more secure start in life. Professionals from services all over Dorset, including Dorset Police, Dorset NHS Clinical Commissioning Group, education providers, children's services counsellors, foster carers and the voluntary sector and more, have gathered together to honour the official launch of the Harbour project. A new business I've lost the picture for that one. I was just looking for that one. I can't find the picture for that one. A new business venture for upcycling high-end clothes and designer items has been launched in Weymouth this week. The business has been launched by Wendy Petit-Demange and is called Petit Pieces Dress Agency, and it's based in St Mary Street, and will offer customers a chance to buy pre-loved high-end items and even to sell their own surplus ones. Owner Wendy, a former teacher and theatre producer, has said, "We all use far too much buying and getting rid of it. And the idea that you can buy something, wear it a few times, bring it here and then get some money for it, that is what the whole idea around the shop really is. Nowhere else is doing this with these sort of clothes, and since Debenhams is closed, a lot of my friends ask where can they go for a really nice dressy clothes." Wendy hopes to address a gap in the market in the town for high-end clothes, while also helping to cut down on waste by combating fast fashion. The new venture only accepts clothes in really good condition and high-end high street and designer goods. Customers can both buy and sell their own products. If you want to sell an item, you can arrange an appointment with Wendy at the shop. And I believe if she sells the item in the shop for you, that you get 40% of the value of the sale. So that's good news there. If you've got some of those items in the wardrobe that you spent a lot of money on, you've worn once or twice, and you don't want to wear them anymore, maybe somebody else can have advantage of them. And maybe you can make a penny or two in doing that. And staying with shops, empty shops in Weymouth Town Centre are being covered with festive murals to cheer up the area as we approach the season of Christmas. We Are Weymouth Business Improvement District, or the BID, has begun its Christmas campaign in the town by introducing shopfront visuals in empty shops. The BID said that the graphics add festive charm to the town, with one property being completely transformed into Santa's post office, where families can write and post letters to Santa in time for his Christmas collection. Dawn Rondu, Weymouth BID manager, said, "The way Weymouth looks has been altering for many years, and in particular with COVID. The rise of empty retail units has encouraged us to look at new ways of re-imaging our town. Our plan was to create a warm and inviting town centre for the Christmas period, with plans for longer-term improvements and inward investment. We Are Weymouth BID aims not only to showcase the fantastic festivities in the town, but also highlight the commercial opportunities in the town with the available units that are out there, as well as improve the general look and feel of the high street. Former shops that have been decorated include Burton's, Dorothy Perkins and Pondu Home Interiors in St Mary Street." And finally, in our headlines tonight, local charity Weymouth Town Charities that runs the Sir Samuel Myco and the Sir Henry Edwards charities are looking for 2 new trustees, after 2 long-standing trustees are set to retire. The Sir Henry Edwards Charities, which date back over 120 years, runs the almshouse properties on Boot Hill and in Rodwell, for those who can no longer put a roof over their own heads. And the Sir Samuel Myco Charities, which dates back to 1666, provides educational and developmental grants for local young people who've not reached 25 years of age. If you're interested in getting involved as a trustee, or potentially interested, pop along to the Weymouth Town Charities website at www.weymouthtowncharities.org.uk, or call 01305 548 007 and press option 2, where you can have an informal chat about the charity and the work that trustees do with the chairman of the charity before deciding if you'd like to put your name forward. And of course, if you are a local young person at college, studying an apprenticeship, or going off to university and are in dire need of some financial support, again, do pop along to www.weymouthtowncharities.org.uk and look for the Sir Samuel Myco Charity Grant application form. And there we go, that's the end of our headlines in tonight's programme. And now on to our first feature. With Remembrance Sunday just a day away, this week Janet Hall looks at remembrance and why we mark remembrance some 100 years after it all started.
The Royal British Legion has been supporting servicemen and women since 1921, and they're not going anywhere. For 100 years, the Royal British Legion has been helping serving and ex-serving personnel and their families. From those who served in the First World War to the men and women of our armed forces today, they believe no one should suffer for having served others. By 1921, the tradition of a 2-minute silence had been established. The first ever poppy appeal was also held that year. The poppies sold out almost immediately and raised over £106,000, a considerable amount at that time. This money was used to help World War I veterans with employment and housing. In their centenary year, they are firmly focused on the future. By building on a century of work, they're going to make sure there is a charity fit for the next 100 years. So it is still important for us to wear our poppy with pride. For the poppy is a symbol of remembrance and hope, including hope for a positive future. John McCrae wrote the poem In Flanders Fields, which inspired the use of a poppy as a symbol of remembrance. In the spring of 1915, shortly after losing a friend in Ypres, a Canadian doctor, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, wrote his now famous poem after seeing the poppies growing in battle-scarred fields. In Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders field. There is a chance for people to show they still remember on Remembrance Sunday, with a service and parade at the Cenotaph in Whitehall, which is usually attended by the Queen. You could also join us at the War Memorial in Wyke Regis this Sunday at 11 o'clock. To find out more about how you can help raise funds for the British Legion, go to their webpage on the above address.
Thank you, Janet. And of course, it is Remembrance Sunday tomorrow. And as Janet said, there is an act of remembrance at the Wyke Regis Memorial Hall. The Wyke Regis War Memorial at the top of Portland Road. at 11 a.m. And of course, if you are going to that, just be aware of the traffic. It's a busy road junction. Now, our second story tonight. Many of you will have used or enjoyed a visit to your local pub over the years, either for a drink or a meet with friends or for some food. Pubs have been on the decline for many years, and when I was younger, I remember in White Regis, within a short distance of where I lived, there were 6 pubs. And some of you will remember the Swan, the Albert, the Mason's Arms, the Mermaid, and of course the Ferry Bridge. The Smugglers is the only pub that still remains in White Regis. Of course, we do have a number of social clubs as well. And of course, COVID has hit our public houses and our restaurants hard. Now, some people have been taking things into their own hands and achieving that warm, friendly public house feeling in their own gardens by building their own pub in their back gardens. Now, I wasn't aware how popular this actually was until I found out this week that there is a national competition underway called the Garden Shed Pubs Competition. And there is one from Weymouth who are one of the 3 national finalists for this year. A Weymouth bar is one of 3 finalists in the national pub competition, and for once it's a pub that's not well known. In fact, it's probably only known by a handful of people. It's called Wheaties Bar, and it's one of 3 finalists in Garden Pub Shed of the Year. Wheaties has a fully functioning bar complete with brass beer taps, a dartboard, and the walls are covered with posters, flags and memorabilia. If you did not know it was a garden shed, you would think it was your local boozer. Wheaties Bar is a labour of love for former serviceman Ian from Weymouth, and it was built back in 2010. And now you can show it all the love it deserves by voting for it to win a prestigious national accolade. The annual competition for Garden Pub Shed of the Year is run by Pub Shed Radio and 2 Fat Blokes Bar Signs and aims to find the very best in the country. There are hundreds of entries each year, and judges have selected their top 3 for the public vote. Ian, the creator of Wheaties, has said, "I wanted a traditional pub feel with a nice balance of memorabilia. The brass beer taps are Gulf War veterans. They served with me on HMS Ark Royal between 2003 and 2004 in the Petty Officers' Mess. When the ship was scrapped, I was so glad to acquire them and give them a new lease of life. The dartboard belonged to my wife's late grandfather. I love the fact that it is still being used." The Weymouth site has even hosted band rehearsals, birthday parties, work parties and a charity evening. Wheaties Bar faces stiff competition from the Garden Inn in the West Midlands and O'Sullivan's County Durham to be crowned Britain's best garden pub shed. To vote for Wheaties Bar in Weymouth as Britain's best garden pub shed, visit pubshedoftheyear.co.uk, where you can find out more about the other finalists. You have to be quick as voting ends at midnight tonight, so you don't have long. Let's have a look now at last year's finalists, which will give you an idea of the efforts that fellow garden pub shed owners go to. And don't forget to pop along and vote for Wheaties Bar before midnight tonight. There we go. That's the Garden Pub Shed of the Year, and there were some of the final entries from last year there that got into the final. And so there are 3 in the final this year, one of which is from Weymouth. So do pop along to pubshedoftheyear.co.uk and vote for Ian and his pub shed. And I mean, looking at those that bit of video there, and looking at the efforts that have gone into those pubs in people's gardens and the different styles, I think it's absolutely fantastic that the work that people have put in. This week, a sunken fishing vessel has been removed from Weymouth Harbour, more than 18 months after it was abandoned in the water by its owner. The boat, called FV Git, had been moored up in the harbour behind Weymouth Pavilion since it was ditched in March 2020. Then, unfortunately, in early October, it sunk. Numerous attempts were made to find a new owner to take on the vessel before Dorset Council decided in January to plan for the removal and wrecking of the vessel due to the unknown condition of the hull, with the cost of removal now subject to an insurance claim. Since being left, harbour staff have been pumping water from the vessel on a weekly basis to stop it sinking, before in March this year permanent pumps were fitted and monitored daily. Unfortunately, despite the best efforts of the harbour staff, this was not enough to stop the vessel sinking on October the 2nd. This week, an absolutely huge crane has been in situ by Weymouth Harbour and visible throughout Weymouth and beyond to lift the sunken vessel. The lift drew the attention of residents. Small crowds gathered near the pavilion and across the water to watch the action unfold as the vessel was lifted from the water. Now, Jeff Moore of Dorset Media was on scene there to film it, and for those who didn't see the big crane or the lift, we're very grateful for Jeff for sharing his footage with us now. There you go. Thanks for Jeff there for seeing the work of that massive big crane in Weymouth, and it's been a major undertaking to get that vessel out of the water. Well, we come to that part in the programme where we look at the weather forecast for the weekend, the national weather forecast for the weekend, and we're going over to the Met Office. And this week we're joined by a new face from the Met Office to our screens here in Wyke. It's Luke Mail.
Hello, the weekend is almost upon us, and the weather this weekend is often going to be quite dry, certainly drier than it's been on Friday. There will be a lot of cloud around, I think, through this weekend, the risk of some mist and fog through the mornings as well, but a lot less windy than what it is currently out there. And as we go through Saturday evening then, it's where we've got those clearer skies that those temperatures will then dip away overnight. So through the spine of the country, we will see it turn quite chilly, the risk of some mist and fog patches forming as well. These could be quite dense for parts of Wales, perhaps the Midlands, central southern England as well, one to keep an eye on. But elsewhere, where we've got more cloud around, it won't be quite as cold. Some bits and pieces of rain affecting western Scotland and moving across Northern Ireland. So the start of Remembrance Sunday will be quite a grey and gloomy picture, I think, for some places. Some mist and murk to clear through the morning, but it will eventually break up, and I think we'll see some sunshine poking through by the time we get to 11 o'clock and beyond into the afternoon. Staying cloudier though for Scotland and much of Northern Ireland. Some rain pushing into the Western Isles later on. The breeze picks up here, but elsewhere with those lighter winds and a bit of sunshine around, temperatures won't fare too bad come the afternoon. A little bit down on what they were through Friday and Saturday, but still 12 or 13 is not bad for the middle of November. As we take our way in towards next week, then things will remain fairly mixed. We'll see the risk of some rain at times. The best of any dry weather will remain across southern areas, where we see clear skies turning chilly at night, but on the whole, temperatures by day will be on the mild side. Of course, for more information on the weather for the week ahead, and indeed as we go through the rest of the weekend, you can check out the Met Office on all of our social media channels, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Thank you very much to Luke there, one of the new presenters at the Met Office. And what does the local weather hold for us for the next week? Well, as Luke said there in the national picture, it looks like it's going to be quite good for Remembrance Sunday tomorrow. Quite mild, dry. In fact, this week there's only a small chance of a shower on Tuesday, and the temperatures are quite mild, and they're even getting warmer towards next weekend, when temperatures of 14 and 15 towards the end of the week. We will be enjoying with some sunny spells as well. So there we go, that's the week ahead. Now, moving on to our traffic and travel. Roadworks this coming week are basically Wessex Water and Count Road, Southlands Road, and of course Newstead Road, which remains completely closed until the 2nd of December. BT Openreach are working in Shrubbery Lane and Rainham Gardens, and SGN, Southern Gas Networks, are scheduled to work in High Street, Wyke. Scottish and Southern are working in Rylands Lane and Portland Road near to Ferry Bridge. And on the trains, this weekend, Great Western and South Western trains, services are affected around Southampton and Reading and Basingstoke. There is a modified timetable for the weekend, so please check before travelling. Now, there are no notified works for this week, but we do know towards the end of this week and in the future weeks up until the first week in December that there are major works starting on both networks that should or are likely to affect services from Weymouth. So more about that in next week's programme. Now, moving to our What's On. Advance notice. Wyke Christmas is on again this year. The traditional Wyke Regis Christmas Street Fair is back on Sunday the 5th of December, and that's all based around Wyke Square, which is closed off with many stalls there and fun for the whole family. Let's hope it remains as mild as it's going to be next week for that weekend. Now, if you're interested in a stall or you want any other information, in the first instance, contact us here at Wyke Regis TV and we will put you in touch with the organisers. Our email is news@wykeregis.tv. That's news@wykeregis.tv. It's on the base of your screen. And we will remind you about that in the next few weeks. And also the grand draw tickets. We think with the first cash prize of £100 are on sale, and if you'd like any of the tickets, again, email us in the first instance and we'll make sure that somebody gets some tickets to you, and we will let you know by next week where tickets are on sale. Now, coming up at Weymouth Pavilion over the next few weeks, on the 14th of November it's Illegal Eagles, 16th of November comedian John Bishop, 20th of November Mercury and the Ultimate Queen Tribute, 25th of November, that'll be the Day Christmas Show, and 28th of November, Fairy Tale of New York. Of course, information on those and all the other things at Weymouth Pavilion are on their website at weymouthpavilion.com or by contacting the box office on 01305 783 225. Also, some new events are notified at the Knowth Fort. Christmas Elf Hunt on the 27th and 28th of November. Escape rooms are at the Knowth on the 27th of November. The Artillery are having a firing day on the 28th of November. And on the 4th of December, Weymouth Christmas Steampunk festivities. And the 20th of December, Picklebottom the Elf in a Christmassy show. More information on the Knowth Fort website at www.knowthfort.org.uk. Now, this is the section in the programme where we normally have a film review. Well, we haven't got one for you this week. There are no new film information that's come out in the last week. So rather than repeating something again, decided that we will wait and see what comes out in the week ahead for you. So we are got to the end of our programme yet again. It does go so quick and the weeks come round so quick, and it won't be long until Christmas is upon us. But just a reminder of what's coming up. Tomorrow morning, regular services at All Saints Church of 8 o'clock and 9:30. The 9:30 service at All Saints Church will be live streamed, and this will be followed by the Act of Remembrance at 11 o'clock at the Wyke Regis War Memorial. Everybody from Wyke is welcome to join the service in church and then go to the War Memorial, or if you just like to go to the War Memorial at 11 o'clock, you will be made most welcome. There are refreshments available in the church after the National Act of Remembrance. And of course, there is still the service at St Edmund's Church at 11 o'clock. Our quiz programme is on shortly at 7:30 p.m. The live stream will be up from about 7:15, so people can find it. That's a free quiz evening for anybody who wishes to join us. And just a reminder that next week's quiz will be a live quiz in the Memorial Hall in Wyke Regis, so we won't be on the air next Saturday evening, but we will be doing a live quiz in the Memorial Hall in aid of the Church Roof Fund. If you would like to book a ticket or book a table, do email us at news@wykeregis.tv, and again we will put you in touch with the organiser. It's open to everyone in Wyke, usually a good fun evening having a quiz, and I know the tickets are going fast. I did speak to Jeff, who's coordinating that earlier today, and around 2/3 of the tickets are already gone. So if you're interested in that, do email us as soon as possible, and I'll get in touch with Jeff and put him in touch with you and make sure that you can get a table or a ticket or whatever you want. So there we go. And on Friday, don't forget, at 7 o'clock, our year gardening with Clive Gray. Good gardening programme, telling you all the tips that you can do in your garden at this time of the year. And of course, if you want to keep up on local things during the week, we have got obviously the Dorset Evening Echo and the Dorset Evening Echo website, but we do have our other local community-based stations, 3 radio stations, Chesil Radio that's just available on the internet, Keep 106 that is on traditional radio as well as on the internet, and Air 107.2 as well. They're all quite different. They all offer local news and local output, and are run by local people for you. So do pop along and give them a go, and do support them as well. All of these people give their time and set these services up free of charge for their local communities, and well done to all of them. So there we go. We've come to the end of another programme, and I hope you have an enjoyable rest of the weekend. The weather's not too bad. It looks like it's going to remain mild, and Sunday's going to be a nice day. And I hope you have a good week ahead. And I'll be back with you at 6 o'clock next Saturday for our weekly news programme. And if you've got any stories or events that are coming up, do email us at news@wykeregis.tv. We'd love to hear about them and put them out in our programme. And maybe we would even pop along and film and do an interview with you to put out on our programme. So until next week, I'll say good night. Have a good week.